All right. Good evening, everyone. Uh, Welcome to another edition of the College Admissions Guidance webinars that we have been conducting on the 20th of every month. I'm Thomas. I work with iDreamCareer, and we've been doing this webinar uh, for the 20th of every month, and it's been planned till the October of 2021. This has been designed for all the Class 12 students in this year who are planning for admissions in 21-22, and I would be giving you some of the updates on a monthly basis format. There was a previous session that I had conducted on the 20th of November, post which we would have a short discussion by one of our senior counselors, Parmita, on overseas admissions. So I'd like to first jump into the updates for the month on Indian colleges, and then we'll move on to Parmita after that. So first of all, I would request everyone to be who are part of our community, who are using the iDreamCareer dashboard, to be able to keep an eye on your inbox and your email inbox and your SMS inbox as well, because a lot of the alerts have been sent to your email IDs. If you log into the iDreamCareer dashboard as well, you will find the notifications for these alerts there. So some of you who have been planning for these colleges, for these entrance exams, it is best that you keep an eye on that. And also, if you're using a smartphone, you should be able to upload all of this data on your own calendars as well, so that you get alerts on a timely manner. However, we are here to be able to give you those updates, any of the changes that keep happening. So we've been doing this since the previous year, and this year we've been continuing this as well. So I'd like to start with few of the major updates that have come in December. First of all, for engineering, this year there has been a huge change where there are 4 sessions for examinations for JEE mains now. Uh, Previous to only there were 2 in a year, where we now have 4 between February 26th to March 15th to 18th, April 27th to 30th, and May 24th to 28th. However, the applications have opened on 16th of December and will close on the 16th of January. So all of you who are looking at engineering as an entrance exam, for an entrance exam, you have JEE mains that has opened up. You also have Vellore Institute of Technology, where the application had opened on 30th of November, and the applications will close by 30th of March. So you have a slightly longer timeline there. The entrance exam has been scheduled as of right now tentatively between second and third week of April. However, just to give you a note that last year VIT had not conducted an entrance exam owing to the pandemic. So they did look at the class 12 marks last year. However, this year as well, they wanted to put the dates tentatively. So, which is why once the dates are updated, you would either find them on the iDreamCareer portal itself, where you'll get a notification for it. You'll also find it on the VIT website as well. For design, while NID got closed last month itself, NIFT had opened up, and it is now open till 21st of January, where the entrance exam is scheduled for 14th of February. So, any of you who are looking at fashion design or leather designed accessory, textile, knitwear, fashion communication, apparel production, all of these courses are covered under NIFT, and they have colleges pan India. Again, for engineering, SRM also opened up their applications, which is opened up till 31st of March. The entrance exam has not been announced yet, but the applications have opened. So they are not given any indicator as to when the dates are planned for as of right now. Uh, Again, design usually is one of the first applications to open up, starting with NID. So you would notice that a lot of design colleges have the applications open now. So Maya's MIT Institute of Design in Pune has the applications open to the 28th of February, and the design aptitude test is scheduled for 14th of April. Similarly, at Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology for design courses, the applications open on the 10th of December, and the applications close on 31st of March. April 14th to 23rd is when they're looking at the entrance exams for both design and nursing to be conducted. So some of you are interested in nursing as an option can look at that as well. And for Jain University, for the BBA courses, the applications have also opened up. So some of you are in commerce. Uh, there's a college in Bangalore where you can apply for the BBA entrance process as of right now immediately. The exams have not been announced yet. Uh, and the date for closure as well, where the application is supposed to close, has not been announced yet. So some of you who are looking at an option in management or in BBA, right after 12th. Some of you commerce students are planning to pursue subjects in commercial studies, in business studies, in business administration, can look at this as an option as well. I'll quickly take you through the November update as well, just as a reminder. LSAT applications are still open. They will close on the 20th of April. They plan to have the exams for the 10th of May. There are about 70, at least 70 institutions across the country who look at LSAT as well. CLAT has not been announced yet, but some of you are looking at entrance exams in law. CLAT, LSAT are some of the more popular ones that you guys will be looking at there. Uh, the NID applications have already closed on the 18th of November, and the exams are planned. The prelims are planned on the 29th of December, and the mains are planned on the 29th of April. Similarly, the Design Village in Noida, they have pretty interesting courses ranging from graphic, product, space and interior design, interaction design, fashion and textile, transportation and mobility. Uh, the applications have opened on the 1st of November, and there's the closing date has not been announced. The entrance exam has not been announced yet. Similarly, Flame University as well, which has its BA, BSc, BBA courses. The 30th of November was the last date for the early decision cycle, but they still have applications open for phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 as well. For even Azim Premji University, they have an integrated program for BSc, BEd. So some of you are looking at teaching science subjects, could look at this as an option. 25th of December, which is Christmas, where they close the applications, and they hope to have the entrance exam the 10th of January. Similarly, Kriya University as well. 19th October is when the application had opened up for them. 9th of January is the closure for the early action dates. So some of you are looking at liberal arts and courses at private colleges. A lot of them have started with the application processes already. Having said that, after this update, I would like to hand over the mic to Parmita. Parmita is one of our senior counselors who has been handling overseas counseling for a lot of students. Parmita, thank you for being a part of this session.
Thank you, John.
We can't see you yet, so is your camera on?
Yeah, it's on.
Great. So I will move on to the next slide, and over to you.
All right. Fine. Thank you so much, John, for this opportunity. And for the ones who are viewing this online webinar, today we are going to speak about career planning for, overseas higher education. So you might be a student in your 12th class. So there are two things that you might look forward to it. Either, the start off with your application process. You might have already been in the process. You might have also done some part of it. If I understand well, if you have already planned the overseas education, out of the 6 pointers or 5 pointers that you can see in front of your screen, you would be in the position where you will be sending out your application. 15th of December, lots of universities, they closed, the first round of applications were over, the deadlines were over. Some universities are there which are open even till, January, March, till March, February, March. I remember applying for one of my students last year. Even in the towards the fag end of March and May, I remember applying to at least one university where we applied in the month of May along with the financial application. So for those students who are in your 12th class and you're looking ahead to go for 2021 fall, you still have certain chances. You might not have given the set exam, which is a very good exam to give. Because of the COVID situation, few universities have waived off the set exam score. But nevertheless, as a student and as an advisor who have been advising students for overseas education, I would say it is a very good exam to take. So please do take the exam. You have one more date left set for 2021. So you can try and give the exam on 13th of March. So for that, the deadlines will be somewhere in February last week. So do not miss it. February, you should actually enroll yourself to College Board and register for your set exam in case you have missed giving it in 2020. So for your 2021 admission. Normally, for any overseas planning, the entire planning should begin around 18 months to 12 months in advance, right? So for the ones who are going for a fast track thing, I'm going to discuss these points a little separately. And for those students who would like to take a breather and and have some time for yourself and prepare ahead for a overseas education after a year break, you would have little more time with you to do the entire research which is required for a overseas planning. So it is basically few points that you have to understand. Point number one would be researching your option. So once you're done with your boards, most probably March and beginning of April, you will be done with your boards. So if you are planning a gap year, concentrate completely on your boards now. And if you haven't taken the set exam on 13th of March, take the set exam, right? And post that, you start doing your research on the type of universities you would like to go to, the locational preference, if you have a country specific preference, if you have course specific preference, and also what kind of short term or long term goal that you are looking ahead, right? So in this, I would say, have an Excel sheet made for yourself. Maybe you can name it as my overseas career planning, right? And then write down the names of universities, do a shortlisting activities of universities based on your choice, right, of subject as well as locational preference. And also, just besides the name of universities, you can write what is the fee structure or what is the cost of attendance of that colleges, what are the popular majors, and what are the application deadlines. And one very important pointer, see what is the acceptance rate of the university that you're going for, and also what is the international students ratio, what are the accreditation process. So in point number one, design, just have an Excel sheet, or maybe you can use your notebook with this few points to go ahead with. And the students who are going to go for 2021, ideally you should be over with this step, right? In case you haven't, the first track process would be register for collegeboard.org if you are looking for US, Canada. You can also register for UCAS. The application generally opens in the month of August. So for 2021 admission, the application process starts in 2020 August. So August is over, September, October, November. We are in the end of December now, right? So we have lost some months here. But if you already know of some universities, or if you have some seniors, your relatives who are already studying in few universities where the deadlines are still on, and you also know very well about the university, what kind of course it's there, what are the placement opportunities, then you still have certain the time for you to at least where the university deadlines are somewhere maybe in February or in the month of March, you still have time to complete those applications and go ahead with the application process. The second step, which is very important for overseas planning, is the financial planning. So a student who is aspiring to go after 12 for an undergrad study, definitely I see that student would be above 18 years old, right? So you are someone who would be able to understand what is it that is taking in to go to that country for your studies. So do a very clear, sit down with your parents, understand the finances well, not just the tuition fees, but the entire cost of attendance. So if I say the cost of attendance, I mean tuition fee plus your cost of living, books, stationery, miscellaneous expenses, health insurance, and all of that. Right. So put both of this together. Sit with your parents, see what they have, for you. After that, if you think that you might look for scholarship or you might look for something like a financial assistance, most universities have a separate universities at the same time. Most locations like countries have a separate application process for financial aid. So it is high time you also look into those application processes and kind of match the application process for your academics along with the application process for your financial aid. Right? If you're looking for scholarships, scholarships can be given by external bodies. Scholarships can be there from the university itself. So by now, most of the nominations will already be out, and students would be knowing what kind of scholarship they will be applying for. But there is a third category of scholarship that you can go for in case you receive an acceptance from a university, a renowned university, where the course that you're going for is is a popular course. Then after you get an acceptance, also you can look ahead to at this scholarship awarding body for scholarships. Right. The third and the very important step for any overseas planning would be putting your application pieces together. Right. So here it would be the first step combined with second step. You know where you stand. You know what are your needs, you know what are your skill set, and you know what are your goals. Right. So once you are clear about these three things in your life, now you put your application pieces together. So for this application to be, to be complete, you need certain parts. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, I would say. So one part of the puzzle would be the standardized test. In this standardized test, for undergrad, almost worldwide accepted test is SAT, the Scholastic Aptitude Test. If you have taken the test and you have the score, well and good. If you haven't taken it, please do not miss the test that is in the month of March. And for those students who have already taken the test and also got the score and yet would look for a little betterment or get scoring a little higher to get into that dream university, I would suggest you can also sit for the SAT once again, because most of this entrance exams, the international standardized test for aptitude, they judge on your super scoring also. So for example, if I say the SAT in the first go, you in CR you have 600, in math you have 700, right? You give total being 1300. Next, if you would like to take the test again in English, you have 750, or maybe 700. But however, in math, you go down a little, right? You go down from 700 to 650 maybe. So the university where you're applying to, you can apply as a super score. So they will take 700 from English and 700 from math, your total score being 1400 instead of 1350. Right. So this is how your scores would be taken. So part one, the first part of the application process, the piece would be the standardized test, which is SAT, and also you need to take a English test. Right. So either the IELTS or the TOEFL, PTE, Duolingo. So you can choose from any of this, and please do not go beyond March, because unlike your set, you can take the IELTS anytime you like. So you depending on the center that you're choosing, you can look on a closer deadline as well. All right, if you're prepared for it. So that is one piece of it. The second part of the application, or the second piece of the jigsaw puzzle, would be the letters of reference. So before you leave school, or before your husband for the board exam starts, please get in touch with your school counselors, with the teachers whom you can really connect well. Suppose you are that one student who love physics and have done something very great in physics, and and also the teacher that you are looking ahead to give your recommendation, you have a good bond with that teacher. So go ahead, talk to the teacher, learn more about what the teacher feels about you, right? And help him or her draft a LOR the most of the time you will be waiving your rights to see what is there in the LOR. So you basically have to submit an email address, but it is always a good idea to sit with your teacher for 10-15 minutes, ask their opinion, like how do you consider me as a student who would like to go overseas for education. What are the plus points that you find in me as a student, and what are the areas of improvement which you think that I can be imbibing to prove myself as a better student in an overseas country. So this is one thing you can be doing before you leave school. The third piece, very important again, your essays. So by now you should have been, you should finish your essay drafts, right? So it must be in the final drafting position. In case you haven't done and you're looking, towards the last part. So it is a time you put down your thoughts together and get the SO draft ready. The first you can look for is the essay prompts that are available in the College Board or the common application, right? There are 6 essay prompts. You just pick up 1 or 2 prompts from there and write maybe 500 words, to be on the average. So the Common App do not accept essays which are less than 250 words and which are more than 600 words, right? So an ideal number for an essay would be somewhere between 500 words. But there are universities which would, look for an essay only in 250 words, right? So for example, USC looks for essays which are just 250 words. So if there are, if the universities that you will be applying, after January, they might be a little less strict on specific essays. However, most universities, they look for a common essay and also college specific essays. So if you're done with the application process, or if you have just begun with your application process, you would be knowing what are the essay prompts that the university is looking for. Accordingly, start drafting your essays. And if you think you need help, there are lots of people, even in IDC, we do help people, students with overseas admissions, and also overseeing how the essays are going. If you think that you would require such help, you can definitely reach out to us, right? And the third, I'm already done. The fourth important piece would be your transcripts, your predictive scores from your school, because you will not be getting your 12th results till the time you apply. If you have, well and good. If not, you might have to go to your school and get a predictive score for your 12th grade, right? So this is the overall score. They do it 9, 10, 11, 12, and they give a prediction. So in India, we have a pattern like a W curve. Students generally do well till their 8th and 9th, they dip a little. 10th, they do well again. 11th, they dip a little. So 12th scores or the predictive scores are generally higher than what the marks you get in your 11th, right? So this is something your school will be able to help you with. So that will take care of the fourth piece of the jigsaw puzzle of this application process. And the fifth piece, very, very important, is your CV, right? If what are the achievements or the extracurriculars that you have done, it is the time you put your best foot forward. So whatever is good in your CV, put it out, right? Let it reflect in the essays a little, and also what you're passionate about. So put it down in a CV, whatever certification you got, or even if it is not a certification, but you're doing some voluntary activity, put it down in your bio, right? Students who are looking for art related courses or design related courses, put your best pieces together and start creating your portfolio. For those students who have already done this process, because as I told you, 15th of December, almost 30% of colleges had their deadlines. A few, tier 1 universities had their deadlines even in the month of November, right? So if you have already completed, now it is your time to understand the visa process. So for any overseas application or admission, if you're going through, you go to the visa process only when you receive an acceptance from the university. right? So if I have to talk of US specifically, if you might have applied to, 2 or 3 universities in the US, or maybe 5 or 6 universities in the US, or even in UK, or maybe in Singapore. So by the, end of May, I'm not talking of early decisions. Early decisions results are out, and if you got into early decision, you would be getting, celebrating because you made it into the university. If a denial you have received, then for all the other universities that you have applied by December, or you will be applying by the end of January or February, the decisions are generally given to you in the month of April. Right, so we jokingly say it's the 1st of April. The Fool's Day is a day when most of the universities sends out their the emails responding to the student, whether it is a denial or an acceptance. So if you get an acceptance, then there are certain processes that you have to follow. Many universities will not be asking for any financial document if they are not accepting your application. Right, so if they accept your application, it's then when you decide to submit your financial documents to the university, proving that you have done your financial planning and you are ready to bear the tuition fee the university is looking forward. Right, so if that happens and you submit your financial papers, they send you something called as a I-20. For US it is I-20, for UK it is an acceptance form, for Singapore visa again the university gives you a sponsorship letter, or so there are different, for different countries this is different, but the main is when you get an acceptance, the university will give you a record or paper, all right, with which you start off with your visa process. So most of the visa process are online, so you need not go for an interview except for US. In US, you have to go for a one-on-one interview, which is barely for 3 to 5 minutes, right? So you have to understand what are the rules and regulations of the visa process pertaining to the country that you are looking forward to. Right, so once your visa is educated, you are ready to go to that country to study. Right, so again there is certain requirements, certain planning that needs for your pre-departure as well. So this COVID time, if I have to tell you a few stories, I have a student who went in the month of August and he made it into Robert and William Smith College. It is in a place called Denver near New York, right? And I remember applying for this student. His name is Adarsh. So Adarsh was looking for something into computers and biology together. So he wanted biology major. So we were looking for universities which were, having biology as a popular major for them. And we applied for fall 2020. He got his acceptance. Most of the acceptance came through by May. So we applied to around 17 universities and he got around 12 acceptance, out of which he got from 5 universities, he got scholarship amount ranging from 85% to 96%. Right, so he is currently studying in a university, the liberal arts college, basically Harvard and William Smith's college, with 96% scholarship of on his tuition fee. Right, so he left, I think on the 17th of August this year, he left for US, and 3 days he had to stay in quarantine, like 3 days online and orientation things were happening, and then he went to his college. So he is doing complete classes on campus. He is doing his assignments, very busy. The only struggle he is facing is he is a vegetarian, and in the mess you find mostly non-veg food. Right, so he went, and my daughter's classmate he made into Augustana University, which is in South Dakota. What this university did is, for all the fall intakes, they shifted it by 3 months. So he left on 19th of just yesterday. It was his flight at 3 o'clock in the morning. So like he left for South Dakota, and they will be starting off with their semester from January. right? So this is a time he went in a little earlier. The orientation will happen after 3rd of January, and then the classes will begin from 10th of January. So this is how most of the universities are taking. Some of them have just delayed the admission process by 3 months, but most of the universities, they have opened up the doors for international students with certain rules and regulations. So the rules and regulations basically revolve around with the COVID treatment and COVID test. Since vaccinations are not out as of now, I know of a student who went to Singapore. She made it to Singapore, but the university and the visa process categorically mentioned that the child should have an insurance policy which covers COVID testing, as well as if the child is suffering from COVID, the medical treatment should be covered under the insurance. So you may look at certain international health insurance companies to get your health insurance done before you move to the country. So some of them are there, like Tata AIG. You have Global Health, United Health. You also have Garden Life. So there are few health insurance companies which covers your not only health insurance, they have an extra rider for COVID, and the COVID treatment would be taken care. So if those are certain requirements for the country specific or university specific pre-departure requirements, you should keep a note of it and then go ahead. Some countries, not countries, I would say some states, even in the US, looks for a rubella vaccine, a MMR vaccine. So most of the kids here in India do get an MMR done when they are child. But before you fly, you have to take 2 shots of that vaccine, right? And the time duration between the 2 shots should be at least 4 weeks. Right. So if the university has certain rules and regulations for certain vaccinations to be taken, be mindful of those vaccination and get those things done here in India. Right. If you are looking for, if you are someone like me who wears specs, right, and you need to have an eye checkup. So please go for the eye checkup before you fly, because most of the health insurance will not be covering your eye checkups and getting the glasses for you, and it might be very expensive the moment you go there. So get an eye checkup done, get 2 or 3 pairs of glasses with you before you depart. And also very, very important, it is to understand how the academics in that country goes. All right. How would you be tested on your assignments? How do you behave in the class? What would be the area which you need to work on? Because for those students who have already submitted your application process, I am very sure you might be very anxious to know, when is the email hitting my account saying that you have been, congratulations, you have been accepted, for our university. So the moment you get such a, email, be very free to ask them any sorts of questions that you have doubts. Most of the universities will be doing a detailed orientation, and again there would be lots of students who volunteer or they are graduate assistants maybe in those universities, and also you might be associated with certain WhatsApp group. The moment you are accepted to the university, they will be adding you to their WhatsApp group, where you can exchange, or you can share your questions and they will be answering. So always it is good to get the first hand information from the university on few things: your packing, your staying, where would you be staying, what would be the requirement for that, health, also opening up a bank account. So nowadays most of the time you can get an international debit card made here in India, and you can use that debit card. But most universities, they have a bank in the university campus itself. So maybe just after a month or so, you might have to open a bank account. So what would be the documents and all required, so that you don't miss on all those documents, you can do your packing well. So it is always important to connect with someone from the university who would help you with the pre-departure requirements, and also to know more about the academics. During the orientation process, you will be assigned with the academic counselor who would help you. What would be the course that you will be taking? How do you register for those courses? right? Unlike India, like suppose you're going for BSc and your timetable is set, your courses are set, your professors are, you know them, and you just follow your timetable. So most universities abroad do not have a timetable as such, right? So you have to register for the course, and you then go forward with it. There might be some course in different buildings as well. So right, you're taking computer science class in one building, and then you have a physics class which might be, you have to take a bus and go to the other college to take your physics class. So you cannot have two classes in the same time, or maybe with a little maybe 10-15 minutes gap in between. So you will have a counselor who would suggest as to what are the courses you should be going ahead with. It is always better for Indian students to know the curriculum, okay? Whether there are certain prerequisites. If you're looking at math, all right, and you're looking at a paper in calculus, there might be certain requirement to take that paper 1.2, right, that you're looking for. You might have to clear paper 1.1, right? So the curriculum that you have done in India, does it match with the curriculum that they offer? So can you go for a higher level course? All right, or do you need a prerequirement of either a subject or some knowledge? So you can take up 1 or 2 credit extra and build a bridge kind of to make up for the gap, right? So even in India, we have certain colleges, like for example, students looking for BTech in biotechnology, and those students may not have math in their 11th and 12th class. They might be from the biosciences, right? From the medical sciences, PCB. So for those students who would like to go for BTech in biotechnology, many universities, they offer a bridge course in mathematics, right? So here you're going to a university which is not in India, right? So the system is very different. So there might be certain courses which you might have to take before jumping into the main courses. So please be mindful of all of those. And once all these 5 to 6 points are done, yeah, you're ready to take your flight and enjoy your studies in the foreign destination, right? So for all those students who have done their process, I wish you all the best. And for the ones who are looking to take a gap year, this is a time where you prepare for your standardized test and get a good score there. You work on your essays and SOPs and work on researching your options to create that short list of university based on 3 different clusters. So you can have few universities as ambitious, you can have few universities as moderate, and you can have few universities as a safer zone. So if I have to give you an example, how do you do that? Number 1, research your option. In researching your option, you do a lot of insight, right? How do you know what are your best fit universities? What are your weaknesses or strength? What is that subject that you would like to go for? And also, what were your scores? Right? What are your scores in English? How good you are in English? How good you are in math? Or how good were your scores were in your 12th class? So after realizing all of this, you can give some kind of a rating to yourself. So suppose I give myself a rating, say 3.5 star, right? So if I'm getting 3.5 star, that is my self-rated, self-rating that I have done. So when you are looking for universities, you have, few universities as 5 stars. You are 3.5, but you have around 4 to 5 universities which are 5 star. That means that they are looking for something more than what you have, right? You have around 4 and 5 universities which are 4 star. You are 3.5, and the university is slightly looking at a better score. But what if your essays are very good? What if your LORs are very good? You can get into universities which are 4 star according to the acceptance rate and all of that, and also according to your profile, right? It's also very important that you have few universities, maybe 2 or 3 of them in 3 star. So you're 3.5 and this is 3 star. So the entire process that you have done, research your option, planning your finances, application process, visa, and all of that, right? So this should not go for a waste. So for that, you have 1 or 2 universities on a safer zone also. get help from a counselor to help you. What should be the ratio that you apply to? Should it be 1:2:2, or should it be 1:2:3, or can it be 2:2:2? Right. So if you are looking for some help, you can definitely take, and so that someone can understand your application and put the best things and highlight the best that is there in your CV. All right. So with that, I wish you all the best. And if there are any questions that you have relating to your overseas planning, please feel free to ask me. Now, over to you, John and Garima. If there are any questions, I am open to answer them.
Thank you very much for that detailed session, Parmita. There were two questions actually, and I think the first one you've already answered, which was on reviewing the essay. We do have a system where we have counselors like Parmita herself who will be reviewing an essay. So I think Garima has already shared the contact details with that student. There was another question on how do I prepare for SATs. Though
Right.
I know that you've touched upon it a little bit. If you have some more tips to give the student, I think you can answer
Yeah,
that.
great. Fine. So when you talk of SAT basically tests you on two things. One is your English apprehend, like how do you get, how strong you are with your communications. They call it CR, critical reading. All right. The next part of SAT is your math. So 800 marks math and 800 marks CR. For those students who are from the humanities background and commerce background, the best time to start off with set preparation would be in your 11th class, right? For the students who are from science, at least your math would be taken care of. Very frankly speaking, this is a difficult exam, and you might require help. If you are planning from a long time and you have started preparing for your preset or preset right from your ninth class, then it's going to be a little simpler. But if you are not, and you're just looking to give the exam maybe in 2021 March, in that case I would suggest that you take some help, because it depends on how quickly you understand the question and answer. Right. The questions are very long, and you need to read it, apprehend it, and tick the correct answer within few seconds. So you sometimes get around 5 to 10 seconds or 12 seconds to answer one particular question. So it comes out of practice, but definitely the longer duration you have for it, it helps. If you haven't had that, go for some external help, which will give you the coaching or whatever you're going for, any online platform or anywhere else. There are few the institutes, Jambori for that matter, I know. So you can look at the cracking the questions, the techniques that are required to come up with the right answer. So I also know a few institutes who give you a crash course kind of a thing for 1 or 2 months. So it would be a good idea to opt for that if you're just looking for very expedite kind of a program. So you can look for certain coaching programs for SAT preparation. Right. But the first step, please register for your college board, and if you haven't taken the test, book your dates when you have to take it. All right. Yeah, John, I think I answered that somewhat.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think there is just one more question, which is on pursuing a course in artificial intelligence in undergraduation in India.
Okay.
Do you want to take on that question, or do you want to?
I think you can do it, John. Will
All
you?
right. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So while usually AI and ML courses, you would find them more abundantly as a certification program, there is a course in Triple IT Hyderabad, which is a dual degree 5-year course, which has a BTech in computer science and a master's in computational linguistics. So you have a dual degree course that is available, but having said that, only focusing on artificial intelligence, you might not find a course that is only on that, because the basics for that is, of course, going through through programming courses as well. Moving on, Garima, if you can let me know if there are any more questions that I can answer.
Yeah, I would like a little input for the student who is looking for AI and ML. I would suggest, when you are doing something and you want to master in that, the graduation level can be done in a general engineering subject or a computer subject, and take it as a specialization when you're in the master's program. right? But again, if you're someone from a from a non-science background, from a commerce background, and from a humanities background, and you would like to do something in AI and ML, there are scopes available. So I know of so many institutes who give you the basic, to go for AI. The basic language you should learn is Python, right? And that can be learned by anyone. So even in school 11th and 12th they teach you Python, right? So you start off with core Python, advanced Python, and then you go for something like deep learning and all. So if you are from a non-science background and you still want to work into AI and ML in the graduation part, so I think you take up a graduation in computer science, and parallelly you do certain courses in computer science. You will be learning languages like Java, and all that heavy language. Python is mostly, algorithmic, logical language, which can be mastered within a month or so. So, you can take that as a, side and have something solid as a graduation. So that would be my advice, John. Sorry to have,
No worries.
interrupted.
So I think Garima has mentioned there are no more questions. So thank you very much for the very detailed answer, Parmita. Uh, I would just like to inform everyone that every month on the 20th of every month, we'll be conducting this session at 6 p.m. You would find the details of the session on our YouTube channel itself, which is iDreamCareer. For these two sessions, of course, we had covered topics like how to build a plan A, B, and C for college. And today, Parmita has discussed in detail preparing for an overseas admission as well. For the next session, we will be covering tips on time management for entrance exams, and of course, the college admissions applications that have been updated for January as well. We'll cover those elements too. However, Garima, if there are no other questions, we can probably close the session for today. And thank you very much, Parmita, for giving your time.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Thomas.
Garima,
Thank
as
you,
well.
Garima.
And thank you for everyone for who were watching very patiently. If you do have any queries, if you do want to sign up for any kind of counseling session, you can definitely go to the iDream Career website. And of course, I think Garima has also shared the contact details of one of our team members who you could call with the same. So thank you, everyone. And we look forward to connecting with all of you again on the 20th of January. Have a nice evening.
Yeah. Have a nice Sunday evening, all of you. Bye bye. Take care. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.